You know, I didn't want to do it in these circumstances, but I think we should see somebody else. It's just, it hasn't really been working for a while, and I met somebody new. DaVinci Resolve Studio. She even gave me a certificate. So I'm gonna be over there. I mean, only thing we can do now is jump into a beginner tutorial, I guess. What's happening, filmmakers? Welcome back to Syndestent Studios. I'm your host, Darius Nathan, and today I break the news that I've been using DaVinci Resolve Studio for some time now, actually. Before we jump into the tutorial, I wanted to go over a couple of things that did make me want to make this switch. So, the one-time payment, it is a lot up front. Don't get me wrong, it is a lot up front, but you're spending less than you would in a year with DaVinci Resolve than you would with Adobe. So that's one good reason that I made the switch. Personally, I didn't feel like there was any learning curve when using the editor like I would in Premiere Pro. Now, Fusion Page for After Effects, yes, that's where the learning curve is definitely going to come into play. But if you're just going to use the editor or the cut page, I feel like a lot of people can use that without even watching too many tutorials. Most of the buttons, most of the stuff is still the same. It just might be in a different spot.
Alrighty guys, now that we're over here on the computer, let's go ahead and jump over to Blackmagic Design. We're going to go ahead and download DaVinci Resolve Studio. So from here, once you make it to their website, we're going to want to click products up here at the top. Then we're going to go to DaVinci Resolve Fusion software. And then you'll have two options here. You'll have DaVinci Resolve Studio and DaVinci Resolve Free. Clicking on either one will take you to the same spot. Just going to take us to the promotional page. So the promotional page, you can check out what the software has to offer, all the new features that are coming in with DaVinci Resolve 20. But here is where you're going to want to click the download button again. And then on the right and left side, or sorry, at the top you have the public beta, and at the bottom you have the stable release. On the right side you have the studio, and on the left side you have the free version. And then you'll go ahead and click whichever download works for your computer. I'm going to go ahead and skip this part as I already have it downloaded. It should take you through a quick setup. I definitely recommend going through that setup and getting it done. Alrighty, so we're over in DaVinci Resolve now. So here's a project manager. Clicking on the, opening up DaVinci Resolve will automatically open up the project manager. From here, you can open up new projects, open up old projects, look at local database. You got the network database, you have your cloud database if all that is set up. I haven't really set up any of that just yet. I'm just using everything local. So down here, you can click new project, or you can just click on untitled project and it'll pretty much open up a new project as well. Also, you can import and export projects. That way you can save them, take them with you, send them to friends, send them to anybody who needs those projects. Right here is your details. Kind of get details on everything that you need about the project, or about your local database. You have backups, duplicates. You can actually open the file location as well. I believe that these are the same buttons. This is going to be your sorting. This is going to be your backups as well. And then this is going to be just searching through your projects. So the project menu or project manager is pretty simple. Over here you have the thumbnail size, some more sorting options, infos about the actual projects, and then different ways of laying them out, and then you can search through the projects as well. So pretty simple here. Let's go ahead and open up a new project. So I'll go ahead, go down here to the right, click new project, and let's name it tutorial. Perfect. And now the first thing that opens up is the actual cut page, and we'll actually jump into this page first off and start talking about it. All right, guys, so we're here in a new project in DaVinci Resolve, and starting from the bottom, we're going to start from the bottom and then work our way up, just kind of going over how the actual cut page is laid out, and then we'll dive into each other page as well. So I know we didn't start the media page. Media page is the first page, but I'm going to go through that at the last when we import our media. So the cut page is the page that we're on now. At the bottom right here, you have your timeline. Above that timeline is another timeline, but this timeline gives you the full view. So if we're zoomed in on this one down here, then this one will show the complete timeline right above it. On the left side, you have your media pool. On the right side, you have your source viewer. And then on the right side of that, you have your mixer. Also, there's a window. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed all these buttons down here, but I'll explain them because you know what these windows are now. So these buttons down here are for the source viewer, just your playbacks. This is mark in, mark out, jog wheel. And then these are your points of interest. This is your playback or your fast reviewer. Then you got points of interest, voiceover. So you can take voiceovers while in the timeline. And then here's just like different tools. So here you can transform, you got your crop, you got your dynamic zoom, just different tools that you would have. Now, over here, we have your insert, you have your append, you have your ripple. These are your same tools that every other program uses to get your media from the media pool into the timeline, and just different ways to do that. Over here you have video and just audio, so if you want to send the video down or just the audio down, you can do that as well. Up top above those, we have some more features. This is the media pool viewer, so if you have anything in the media pool that you're looking at and you want to review before putting them in the timeline, it's going to be these two viewers. This viewer right here allows you to see the videos with the media pool timeline at the bottom that you're able to control. Pretty neat feature, so thought it was pretty cool to keep in there. Timeline viewer, normal timeline. If it's down here, it's going to be viewed over here. And then you have your multi-source viewer. This is for like, think podcasts, and you have multiple cameras, multiple people talking. You want to jump between camera and camera. It makes it easier to do it that way. You're looking at multiple feeds, and you can just click which camera you want to be focused on. Along the top here, just more timeline. Sorry, not your timeline, but your time code. How you want it to be played back, if you want to use proxies or not. The aspect ratio of your project. And this is just the timeline. This is of the timeline project. This isn't customizing the actual project settings. You'll have to go in and check that. Over here, we have the bypass. So if you have any color effects, you can bypass any of your color effects. Let's see, right here, this is going to be all your meta tags or metadatas, how you view the actual media in the media pool. So if you want to view it in a detailed mode, more of a thumbnails and a little bit of metadata. It's just different ways to view the media. I'll usually keep it, I don't know which one, I'll keep it here. Here you can also tag your stuff in with meta tags and then search the tags over here. Over here you got more stuff, just importing information. So here, this is called the relink. If you move media and then you come back into your your DaVinci Resolve program and it says media isn't there because you moved the file, using this, you can go in there and you can find the file and relink it. That's all that is. Over here, we have the sync media. Sync media is the same thing when it comes to working with podcast footage. It's syncing all the media. That way, when you're going back and playing it in, say, the multi-viewer, then everything is at the same time code and in the same place. Over here, you got all the ways you can import from cloud, import a media file, or import just the media. And then over here, you got your file manager. So if we want to add a new bin or something like that, it'll pop up underneath master. A bin is just like a folder. So those are your two different windows. Now we're also missing an extra window. It's called your inspector. This is the inspector. The inspector will hold all of the metadata, the video information, the video settings. So say we had a video in here and we want to change something. 9 times 10 is going to be over here where you can change it in the inspector. So we can change the zoom, we can change the position and the X and Y, we can change the rotation, we can change opacity, we can add dynamic zoom, we can add real-time transformation, but we can add real-time speed ramps, real-time freeze frames. All that stuff will be kind of located over here. Same thing with the audio and the effects settings, all over here as well. So that's what your inspector's for. Mixer, just a little window that pops up, gives you a little mixer. Full screen, takes your video into full screen. You can also do this with Control F. Control F will also take you into full screen. Quick exports. So quick exports will allow you to quickly export your video right where you are instead of going all the way to the delivery page. Now, delivery page gives you a lot more options, but quick export can be useful. I mean, if you're trying to get something over to YouTube really quick, go ahead and do it. You can also sign into YouTube to get it published directly to it. So that's a really cool feature. Now, jumping over to the left side, starting from effects, this is, so in the media pool window, all of these things will change it. So it's not adding a new window, we're just changing the media, what's in the media pool window. So we have our effects. DaVinci has a bunch of effects. We'll definitely jump into those a little bit later, but Here's a quick glimpse at your effects. And right now we're just looking at the video effects. If you look right up here, it says video with that red line underneath it. You go over, you go audio effects. Cool audio effects over here as well. We have generators. Some really cool generators that you can use. And then we have favorites. If you have anything that you favorite or use a lot, then obviously you can see it in favorites. Now, moving over to the titles. Everybody understands titles. You got your bottom thirds, you got your text plus, you got your regular text, you got your right lower thirds, middle lower thirds, and then I'm guessing left lower thirds. Multi-text, all the cool titles and stuff that you can play around with. Everybody understands the titles. All the really cool features, subtitles. These are actually subtitle effects. So your subtitles can actually have effects as well, and you can have those burned into the video if you need to, just like they do on any other social media platform now, like TikTok and Instagram Reels. Transitions. Just more transitions for your videos. We have your audio transitions as well. So crossfades plus 3 decibels or down 3 decibels, or just no decibel change at all, but still a crossfade. Favorites, where you'll save all your favorite stuff that you, all your favorite transitions. Keyframes. So when you're making a keyframe in a video, instead of it popping up down here like it doesn't, so in DaVinci 19, it will pop up over here, but in DaVinci 20, they added the new keyframes window. So when you're adding keyframes to a media or any like an image, it'll pop up over here and you'll be able to change the keyframes from in this little keyframe section. We'll get into them more a little bit later. Sync bins. This is syncing your bins, syncing your video, syncing your media for the multi-camera use for like podcast editing that we had gone over. So anything where it says syncing, most of the time it's going to be for like a multi-camera use where you're going to be looking at editing multiple cameras at the same time. And then we'll go over here to the media pool again where we began. And there it is. That is your cut page. This is your rough cuts. This is your quick edits. This is something that you want to get in and get out really fast. This is what the cut page is for. Now let's jump over to the edit page. All right, we are in the edit page now. And as you can see, everything looks pretty familiar. But we have our inspector window up. Our inspector window stays up with us now. And we also have the timeline down here at the bottom. We don't have that extra timeline at all, but we can still make it to where we can see the full timeline instead of having that just a zoomed in view. And then we have our media pool on the left side as well. So in our inspector and our media pool stay open. I mean, you can close them by clicking on it, but usually those will stay open. So this is what the edit page looks like. This is where you'll be able to dive a lot deeper into your edits. So above this gray line, this little gray line you see right here, below this is going to be all your audio. Above this is going to be all your video. I'll show you what that looks like once we get into the media page. And for now, I just want to give you guys a quick glimpse of all the tools and stuff that you have. So along the top is your media editing tools. So over here, you have timeline tools, so different ways to display the timeline, the background, just track height, just different ways that you can look at the timeline. Just change the view of the timeline, change the thumbnail view of the videos in there. Here you have more keyframes, and then here, since I don't have a video up in these, most of these things will be blocked out or grayed out. This is going to be your ADR, so if you want to do some in timeline voice recording, you can do that as well. Little voiceover work. Here you have your normal editing tools for timeline editing. So you have your selection tool, you have your, I wouldn't call that a ripple tool, but it's your slide tool. So you can slide a video around without changing the in and out points, even though you're changing the in and out area. I don't know. We'll get into that more when we get into editing videos. But right now I just wanted to show you guys this stuff. The blade, the dynamic trim tool, like all your normal insert, overwrite clip, replace clip, snapping. This is also your linking. So if you want to link a video to an audio and have those stay in line, or once you click on one, the other one moves with it, this is going to be your linking. Right here, you have your position lock. If you want to lock the position, you don't want anything to move, stay right where you are. Don't move anything. That's what that's for. Position lock. You have your markers, you have, well, flags, markers, just other things to identify positions in your video timeline. So this is going to be view the entire timeline, full extended view. So this is going to be everything in your clip is going to be in one timeline. You'll be able to see it at the bottom of your timeline here. Next to that, you have your detailed view. So this will, wherever your timeline head is, it'll zoom into that one. And then this is your custom view. So anytime you move, you zoom in, or you do something, it's just going to jump over to custom view for you. And you can also use this slider to zoom in and out. If you are editing, say you're in your media pool viewer, whatever video is in your media pool, you click on it, it'll pop over into this viewer using this little node that we saw back over on the cut page. This volume down here controls that, so you can turn it up and down if it's too loud. And this volume does not control the timeline. Timeline uses a mixer, so that's just a heads up. So if it's too loud, right there. Now jumping back up from the timeline, jumping into these three windows, we have your inspector. We went over that. It's the same thing. Video, zoom in, position X, Y, rotations, video effects settings, audio effects settings, audio settings. All the settings that you want to change are going to be in your inspector. Metadata is exactly like file. Just goes over the metadata of the video. We don't have any videos in here right now, so there's not going to be any metadata, but that's all it is. It tells you what's the resolution of the clip, how long the clip is, kind of what camera was used. It's just metadata. Mixer, we don't have a video up in here, but that's just your audio mixer. Same thing with the quick exports. It's the same thing over there on the cut page. If you want to export something quickly, if you want something to be published directly to YouTube, you can do it there. Now jumping over, I want to just talk about this middle section here really quickly. Tutorial is the name of the project that we're in. Now when this says edited, if it's gray, it hasn't been saved for maybe 5 minutes. If it's yellow, it's been maybe over 15 minutes. And if it's red, it's been over maybe 30 to an hour. DaVinci Resolve auto saves changes. So if you haven't made a change, it's not going to save anything. So if I did something in here, so say I added a video, DaVinci Resolve is going to automatically change this and automatically save it because there was a change taken. But if there's no changes taken, then it'll just sit here and wait for you to take a change and not do any auto saves or quick save. You can do the saves yourself with Control S or going up to the file and then save project. And if you do that, you can see that edited goes away because I just saved it. And it's a recent save. It's been less than 5 minutes, so there's no reason to say something was edited. Now, keyframes. Same thing over as on the cut page. Here we can edit the keyframes of anything that we put down here in our timeline. Sound library, you can go ahead and connect, say you have some sounds that you want to go ahead and put in there. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and I get a sound library in there. You can go in here and add sounds and do stuff like that, search the library. Pretty cool. Index. So if you have markers, if you have different tracks, editing index. Oh, this is where you can click on specific tracks or specific areas of importance. So say you have a marker and it's marked at 30 minutes. You can come up in here and see all your markers, and you can click on each one of your markers to jump to that spot in the timeline. This is what index is for. Tracks. So you have so many tracks and you're trying to locate a specific track in your video. You can come down here, click on the track, and it'll jump to that specific track in the video. Same thing with editing indexes. If you made an edit, or if it's not an actual the full track and it's just an edit of the track and you get to that specific position, you can do that here as well. So this is just jumping around the timeline at specific points that you've made points of interest. Now, effects. These are a little bit different. Well, they're the same as the cut page in a different loadout. Previously, we had to jump up to the top with a red line underneath it. I'm going to close the index as well. Previously, we had to jump up to the top and check video, audio, or like favorites. All that's going to be over here on the side now. So we have the toolbar, audio transitions, video transitions, titles, generators, effects, open VFX, filters, audio effects, Fairlight effects. So all of these are just different effects that you can add to the video. Pretty cool. A lot of fun to jump around in. Open effects are going to be more of your fusion effects and stuff like that. So glow, reflections, like lens flares, lens rays, some really cool effects. But let's keep going. So over here we have the media pool. Now smart bins we'll get into once we get into the media area. That way you guys can understand everything. But same thing as any other media pool. import media, open media bins, import media bins, new bin. A bin is just saying like folder, new folder. So up top, we still have those same buttons here. Show import logs, just some details that you can go through about the media panel. So this is just media panel settings, I guess. Sort options, search options, all bins, you can search here. Formats, so how you want to view your media pool. Metadata, we'll keep it with the thumbnails. Import from cloud. This button right here is for transcribe. So I believe this is a studio version this is for DaVinci Resolve Studio. Since I don't have any media, it's not gonna be able to transcribe anything. So clicking on this will give you like it'll go through the video, look at the video, and then transcribe everything for you and give you your text back, so your subtitles back. Pretty cool feature, really nice feature to have with the studio version. Not necessarily or not mandatory. This is the relink button, same thing as the other one. If you have media that you moved from a different folder and DaVinci can't find it anymore, you can use this to go in there, search for search the disk drive, or just go ahead and relink it yourself. This is just to open and close the side panel. Same options up here at the top, just your normal everyday options. If you can't find something down here, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be up here. If you want to change the window workspaces, you can do that all here. You can add a dual screen, you can turn that on. Primary screen, you can pick which one you want to use as your primary screen. You can have a video, a clean video feed going to a specific window as well. Just some different options that you guys can use. All right, well, that's the edit page. I know I'm talking fast, but I definitely want to get through here and to all the pages for you. That way you kind of get a rough outline of what DaVinci Resolve has to offer. Let's go ahead and jump over to the Fusion page so you guys can check and see what that's about as well. In the Fusion page, this is your node graph area. And here is where you add your nodes to do specific things. So we have merge node, we have a background node and stuff like that. So this is where you add different things to start. This is the node area where you add your nodes to start putting things together and doing cool things in Fusion. Above that is some common nodes that we use pretty often, and then they're set up by like categories with these lines. So this is kind of like your masking, your masking node. So your square node, your ellipse node, your polygon node. Here's some transform, some different matte controls. This is control boolean. This is your multi-merge. This is your merge, multi-merge, and then merge. And then you have your blur, your color, your contrast curve, your color curves, and then your color correction. Over here you have your stroke or paint, text, fast noise, and then your background. As you guys can see, I just put a background into a multi-merge and then into the media. We can delete the multi-merge because it's not doing anything specific. It's just merging something that's going directly into the media out. Now on the right side, you have your inspector. You can change it with this stuff up here, but let me do that one at a time. So your inspector kind of gives you a better look. You can change settings. So like I said, this is where most of your settings are going to be, where you're going to be able to change them from your effects to your zoom of the video to the position of the video or the image. Now getting rid of that, we can open up our metadata. Just more metadata on the actual timeline that you're looking at right now, or the clips that you're looking at. Here we have the keyframes. This one's a little bit different than how the cut page or the edit page will look. I know you guys haven't seen those just yet. I'll show you guys those in once we're editing, but this is kind of the full timeline right here. And then you have the keyframes right here, media out, background, and then their keyframes. I don't think they're keyframed right now. I think this is just like their beginning and their ends, but we'll close that out. And then we have the spline. Spline is same thing as keyframes, but it's more of a graph view. So it'll give you more of a in-depth way of editing your keyframe. So if you want to smooth in or smooth out, if you want a specific way the keyframe should move, you'll be able to do that here in the graph editor or the spline. Go ahead and close that. Same thing, we have our edited feature right here. It's been a few seconds, or saved a few seconds ago. Tutorial, or that's just the name of the project. Then we have our nodes. Nodes down here at the bottom, we can open and close those as well. We have the clips. So down here, if you have multiple clips in your timeline, you'll be able to see all the clips down here in your timeline. So right now we don't have any clips in our timeline, but we only have the timeline itself. Close clips. We have effects over here as well, but the effects over here are a little bit different. You can still use them. You can still throw them in just like that. I don't really use the effects this way in this tool too much. I mean, you have your templates and your LUTs as well, but I don't use the effects over here that often. If you press Shift and Spacebar, you open up the tool select, and say if I need a blur, I'll just type in blur, and this is kind of how I find most of my tools, or I can use it right here. It's the same tool. Or you can click right click, add tool, and then it's the same thing, blur. This blur is the same thing as this blur down here, or the blur that we just looked at. All the same blur, just multiple ways to different ways to get to it. Now here you can see that this gives you a view of all the actual tools and stuff, and this right clicking and going to add tool may be an easier way for you to learn all the tools, and then once you do, Shift Spacebar may be an easier way for you to get to those tools. Lens distort, or say you need a film grain, or say you need a tracking node. You got all those there as well. All right, cancel. Now we have our, going back to our media pool, same thing. Media pools where you organize all your media. This button just allows you to extend the left column window. So if you want the node tree to go all the way across the window, you can, or you can have this vertical window go all the way to the bottom. Up to you. And that is going to be the actual Fusion page. I won't jump too much into detail. I will show you, if you click these little circles down here, this allows you to determine which viewer you're looking into. You can also press 1 and 2. 1 and 2 above the keyboard at the top between the F1, not the number pads. You can do that as well. But going back to 2, it'll just put it over there for us. Now that's been the Fusion page. We'll stop right there. We won't go into too much detail on the Fusion page. This is going to be more of the After Effects type editing done in the Fusion page. So any VFX or any CGI that you want to add, this is most of the time going to be done in the Fusion page. But let's move on to the color page. This is something that I don't think Adobe had to offer us. All right, guys, so we're over here in the color page. I won't go too much in depth here as it does look pretty confusing already. So let's jump into just the overview of the panels really quick, and from there we'll just jump over to the Fairlight page. So down at the bottom on the bottom right, we have your color wheels, so shadows, midtones, highlights, offsets. If you're using HDR, they also have dark, shadows, light, global, and then there's 7 different ones here. So specular, highlights, light, shadow, dark, and then black. Okay, so everything's there in the middle, and then we can also change them over here as well, just to give you kind of an idea of all the sections they have here on the left. It's a lot. Definitely when you're working with color, it's definitely a lot when you get into the DaVinci Resolve suite. Here in the middle, you see our curves. We'll also see the color slice. We'll see the color warper, qualifier, power windows, tracker, magic mask. This is a studio version rotoscope tool, I guess. Sharp and blur tool. Your keying. This is going to be your sizing, input sizing, and then 3D. I have not used that. So, and that button's always grayed out. So I don't think I'm going to be using that anytime sooner. So those are going to be the middle window. These are going to be more of the tools that you're going to use to edit the color as well. Like I said, power tools, qualifiers, color slicers. It's a lot going on here, and we'll clear all that. And these are all your reset buttons. This resets the entire panel, and then this resets the specific settings down here. And the color wheels also have them as well. And then you have your temp, tint, contrast, pivot, range. It's a lot going on here, so I won't get too in depth with it. Finally, over here to the right, you have your different types of scopes. We have our parade, we have our waveforms, we have our vector scopes, we have our histograms. A lot of stuff going on over here as well. and then you can see your color gamut or whatnot, what's going on right now. That I guess we're in Rec 709. And then you have more of your clip information, and that's going to be all down here. And then keyframes, I guess. I've never really used keyframes on the color page. Maybe it's a good feature as well, but I haven't jumped into that too much as I'm still learning the color page as well. So down here is your timeline. You can open and close that as well. Just your timeline. Now the color page also uses nodes. So if you want to make changes, you can press Alt S to add another node, or just press add node, serial node. Where's serial node at? And I guess corrector node. I don't know. They used to call them serial nodes. Maybe it's not a serial node anymore. Maybe they changed the name. I know in DaVinci Resolve 19 it may be still called the serial node. Oh, okay, so that's the node window. We also have the effects as well. Lightbox. I've never really used Lightbox, so I can't be too sure what it is, but yeah, not too sure. Effects, nodes, timeline, and then you have your quick exports as well. Like I said, there's a lot going on the color page, so I won't jump too in depth in it. Just like your Fusion, you have your clips as well. You can use the timeline just like you use the clips using, so if you have two videos, one will have the red outline, one will just be blue. And if you click on the second one, it'll get the red outline, and that's the one you'll be selecting. So instead of having clips, you can just have the timeline as well. We'll close the timeline. You have your media pool, same media pool as any other window. These are your LUTs. The DaVinci Resolve comes with a ton of LUTs, so 9 times out of 10, the camera that you're using is going to have a LUT in here as well. And then you have your favorites down there at the bottom. And then here you have your gallery. At your gallery, you can like grab stills. So if I want to grab a still, I can do that and grab a still there. And then I say if I want to change this, I can use that still that I have here, select it, and then I can compare and contrast different shots in different formats and ways I want to view them. So that's just a way to view and color grade and color match and stuff when it comes to different clips. Grab a still, and you can also come over here and you can export the still as well as like a PNG or whatever you want to export it as. Really cool features over here in the color page. Color page it takes a lot of getting used to, especially when you're trying to figure out where all the tools are. And like I said, I'm not going to go over everything. A lot of these tools, it's going to take some time to get into. So that's been the color page. Let's go over here and jump into the Fairlight page now, the actual sound page. All right, guys. So we're over here in the Fairlight page, and yes, the sound is just as confusing as color. So we will not be spending a lot of time in here as well, but I will go over some of the windows and stuff like that. That way you guys know. Here you have your main timeline, your audio. I don't believe you see the video clips in here at all. It's just straight audio. Over here you have your mixer, and then your bus, and you can kind of see how everything is coming in and where it's going out. Up top is a clip video, so you can see the actual video of the clip. Loudness controls, just more metering controls up top. Like I said, I don't use this too often. I'm still learning about this myself. Over to the left, we have our group. So you can group up different channels and different clips and have them do, I don't know. You can have sound groups. There we go. Then over here we have our indexes, just markers, tracks, and edit indexes. It's the same as all the other indexes that we looked at previously. So if you're trying to get to a specific spot, you have all the markers that you've marked, and you can just click and jump to them. So we'll close those out. Over here you have some more sounds. These are just going to be your audio sounds because this is the Fairlight page. It's only for editing audio. And then you have your media page as well. Anything to deal with sound. I mean, you have your sound library, and if you want to do ADR as well. You can also do ADRs in here, which is just recording your voice inside of the editing program. You have some more of your sweet timeline tricks and cuts and tools that you commonly use, and above that is the playback. Now that's all I'm going to go into with when it comes to sound, because I do not want to tell you guys anything wrong. Those are the windows, and that's kind of how you get around into the Fairlight page. But other than that, I'm not going to jump too deep into editing sound and getting the sound you want and sound design and stuff like that. So last but not least, we'll jump over into the deliver page. Remember, if you guys are enjoying this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below. It definitely helps out the channel. Let's jump over into the next one. Finally, we have the deliver page. So the deliver page is the final page you're going to use to get the media out to your family, your friends, your fans, your Patreons, just get the media out there. This is where it's going to come from. So as we were looking at the quick edits, it's pretty similar, but this is going to give you a lot more options. Now there's not many windows here. You have the timeline down here at the bottom. There's no editing function. This is just viewing the timeline. There's nothing else you can do here. I mean, you can change the in and out points, obviously. This right here is the job queues. So you can queue up multiple jobs and then have them all render at once, or just have them render separately if you want as well, one by one, but you would have to make that distinction each time, or you can just render all one. Now, over on the left side, I guess we still have our little clips here as well. Render queue, we can't close that, but that's this little box over here. Tape, Resolve could not find any video recording hardware connected to your system. So if we're trying to record like tapes, or record from tapes, or playback from tapes, or like I don't know, you can use tape as well. And then you have your render settings right here. Try to see if we can close it. I don't believe we can close it, but we have also finally have the same little button to collapse it up and down on the left side. But looking here, we have the file name, location. Make sure you put the location and which one it's going to be, because if you click this and then decide to change it, it resets all of this information. So up top, we have some of the quick render settings. We have custom settings, H.264, H.264, H.265. We have ProRes. We have YouTube 1080p. And then if you see these little arrows next to them, you can obviously change the aspect ratio to something that fits your actual video. But we have a whole bunch of different ones. So we have Dropbox, we have IMF, we have Final Cut Pro, we have Premiere. Look at that, Premiere. Everybody coming from Premiere. You can still save your file as a Premiere file just to scratch that itch if you need to. Pro Tools, look at that. Avid, I forget how you say it, but I believe those are both, well, Pro Tools is a sound program. And then TikTok, there's a lot of stuff that you can do, but custom is where we're going to be. I'm not going to export anything, but I am going to talk about some of the settings for you guys, so you guys can have a better understanding of the settings. File name, location, browse. You guys all understand that. If you're looking for somewhere to save your file and then name your file, here you can go and place it somewhere to save it. You can export the single clip. Single clip meaning it's going to export the entire timeline as a single clip. Individual clips means you can export individual segments of your timeline. So if you just want to get this segment or this like beginning part of the timeline, you can get it instead of single clip and exporting the entire timeline. Now we have video, audio, and file settings. Export video format is going to be the format that's coming in. MP4, QuickTime, which is a MOV. We have a PNG. This is more of a picture file. We have a Moscova, I don't know, it's MKV. Now the codec below it is going to be, YouTube uses H.264. It can also use H.265. That's kind of just the newer version of it. And then DNxHR is going to be more for like lossless, so you don't want any compression or anything like that. And then you also have Apple ProRes and stuff like that. Encoder, NVIDIA native auto. I usually leave it on auto. Network optimization, I usually leave that unchecked. You can try that if you want it or not. Timeline resolution. There's different resolutions you can go through to pick which you want. Timeline resolution is using the resolution that was in the timeline, and you can also make a custom as well. I did not go over this, but it's a good time to go over this. We have your project settings down here in the right in this little gear. Here is your timeline resolution. This is where you'll be able to change that for your timeline. And then you can also use a vertical timeline as well. So these are just more settings. that you can use. This is actually your project settings. The timeline pulls its setting from the project settings, but you can also make separate timeline settings for a specific timeline. It gets confusing, but this is your project setting. Your project settings tells your timeline what's to do. So we'll close that. That way you guys know it. And then also the little houses, so you can open up your project manager again and pick a different project, open up a new project or whatnot. Now, sorry, back to the deliver page. It's frame rate. Same thing, timeline frame rate. I would usually always use timeline frame rate. Don't ever change it, but if you need to, if you want to, if you have to, feel free to do so. These are the options that you get. You can use the your markers that you place as chapter markers. So wherever you place a marker, it'll be a chapter in your video. So quality is usually what I would leave it on. Here you're able to pick the quality range you want, least to best. Restrict to, this is going to be the bit rate that your video is going to be restricted to. Now the bit rate, it's different. It's hard to talk about bit rate. We won't get into bit rate now, but usually you want a high bit rate depending on what resolution you're using. Best to do is keep it automatic for you. Encoding profile, usually I would keep this in automatic. I don't think 444 would be the best for, I mean, that's just no compression at all. That's like lossless. You're not compressing anything. You're taking all the color information, all the color depth, the lumens, the chroma, the hue. You're taking all that. Mainly, I would keep it in auto. I don't really change this too much. Keyframes, auto. Frame ordering, keep it the same. Variable bit rate. I always keep it in variable bit rate. I would never change it to constant bit rate. I know a lot of people use constant bit rate and stuff like that. Some frames don't need all that bit rate. You don't need to do that. So variable bit rate is how I would use it. Preset, the slower it goes, the better it looks. If you're looking into your videos and it's blurry, or like you're seeing a lot of pixelation, a lot of squares and stuff like that, that compression artifacts, this is where that's coming from. Slow it down. If it's going too fast, it's going to add a lot of that blurriness into it, especially when you're in moving sections of the video. That's where that bit rate comes into play, and restricting it, it's hard to get it correct on each video. You'd have to do a lot of, not a lot of math, but a lot of testing. Tuning, high quality, low latency. You just tune it how you want to. A two-pass is, so when you're looking at a two-pass, the renderer looks over the video first, kind of gets the information on the bit rate and how the bit rate should be effectively divided up between the frames, and then it goes back again and does that in a more efficient way. I use the full pass sometimes. You don't have to. You can disable it. It's between quality and saving time at this point when you're looking at that. Look ahead. It looks ahead 16 frames to figure out how the bits should be arranged and how many bits should be in one frame versus another. That's why I use a variable bit rate. If we're using a constant bit rate, then each frame would have the exact same amount of bit rate, and it would just be your files would be too big for it. You don't need that much. Now, everything else you can usually keep the same. I don't change anything else. And then you can add that to render queue and just ask me where I want to save it. Once you add it to render queue, it'll actually jump over here and it'll kind of have like a job just like that. And then you can just press render all, and it'll start that rendering to the location that you specified right here in the browser. So that has been the delivery page. I know that was a ton of stuff that I just kind of dumped on you guys. Honestly, it's just this stuff. And then audio and file, we usually don't go into this too much. Most of this just keep the same. I mean, you can touch it if you want. If you can dump into this if you want. Changing, like if you don't want 8 different digits after a saved file, you can just have that 1 digit. But most of everything you're going to touch is going to be here in the video. All right, so let's jump over to that media page, get some media imported in. All right, so last but not least, we have the media page. I'll go over this really quick before we import any media. That way you kind of just have an understanding. So down here at the bottom, all this space down here is your media pool. This is your whole media pool down here. This is kind of like your media pool viewer. It's not necessarily your source timeline. Next, we have the job queue. So we're actually in the clone tool right now. So let's jump over to, okay, so This is your media source. So this is your viewer window. This is actually where you'll pull in files from your directory. So this is, I can jump into here, see footage, and this is the files that we'll be working with. These down here are going to be your favorites and kind of just like the bins you use most commonly. If you want to jump into those, these are Syndestent Studios and stuff like that. So let's jump back over to, where'd she go? So we can jump back over to this and say we want to grab this stuff right here. So I'll take that. Let's actually start a new bin. And we'll say this is Spider-Man footage. That's what, yep, Spider-Man footage. So now I can take this, all the clips, drag and drop them into Spider-Man footage. So now all of that stuff is in our media pool. And let's go to that. So these are just different formats of how you can view the footage that you have. So we'll do it in thumbnail view. And so that's what it looks like to import footage. So now that we have that footage in there, I do want to go over the clone tool really quick. So the clone tool, so say you just recorded some stuff on your camera, right? And now you want to get that information onto your computer. Well, what you can do is you can open up DaVinci Resolve, click add a job. So say this was my computer, my camera. So I have these things recorded on my camera, and I want them to go to my game storage. I want them to go to my SSD drive, and I want them to go to my video storage drive. So I can take all the camera footage that all the footage that's on my camera, and have it go to 3 different destinations at one time, and then click clone. So it'll take all the camera footage on the camera, clone it to these 3 drives, and then it'll also verify that it cloned everything correctly by using a checksum type, and it uses a MD5 checksum. So it'll apply like a hash code to each video, and then it'll go back, check and see if those hash codes matched with the copies that it made to the destinations. So I think this is a really cool way to get stuff cloned over and from the camera onto your computer. Say you have to send it to multiple destinations, you can do it in one spot inside of your editor, which is really cool. So that's why I like the media page as well. Over here we have audio. Check out the meteor and check out the waveforms. You can't really make any changes, but just more of like a visual type deal. Metadata, more of your inspector. Metadata is at the bottom because we had it open. Capture, say you have a capture card and you're trying to just capture stuff, or you have a I think Blackmagic offers some type of internal stuff for your computer where you can input your camera and use that as a webcam or something like that. It's just different ways to capture media coming into your computer, but you actually need a capture device for that. But other than that, I think that was mainly the media pool. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, it definitely helps out the channel. And hit that subscribe button if you want to see more filmmaking content. I'll catch you guys in the next scene. Remember to pick up a camera and start filming. Later.